Thank you so much, and thank you, Madam Chair and the board. I am also regret that I can't be there in person today, but am keeping my virus to myself here at the home office. If we could start the slides, that would be great. Wonderful. So we are following up from our conversation at the last board meeting, where you authorized staff to proceed with some work to outline the revised project definition for the BRT scope, and alongside that, bring back a revised budget and funding strategy to this board, and also the revised schedule. So we have worked with the team and are back today to present that to you. I think you're all highly aware of the many benefits of bus rapid transit, but just to sort of lay those out for you there. And then move into the next slide. And just to kind of recap that direction that we heard from you, the enhanced connections were very important. How do we make sure that these stations are connected to the surrounding neighborhoods? How is this experience really top-notch for all users, accessible, safe, attractive? How does this BRT investment accelerate development along that corridor? And then finally, how do we maximize our competitive federal funding application? And so I will turn it over at this time to Cindy Steinhauser with the City of Rochester to outline what the team has revised.
Great, thank you, Catherine, and good morning. As Catherine said, I'm Cindy Steinhauser, Deputy City Administrator for Development Services and Infrastructure. Also here with me today is DMC Project Manager Jarrett Hubbard, who has been the City Teammate Lead on this project, as well as Mona Elevati from SRF, our consultants, who are also available for questions following the presentation. As Catherine said, we're here to provide an update and share with you what we have delivered on your ask to provide an enhanced rider experience. We were here with you a few months ago, and we took that charge very seriously. And so for the purposes of the presentation, I'm going to focus on 3 areas and hopefully are able to articulate how we've delivered on that enhanced experience. First, talking about enhanced user experience and tenant protection, the proposed revised design includes modifying station design to incorporate more canopy, better wind protection, snow melt technology to again make it a much more exciting experience in terms of navigating along the corridor. There are improvements to or additions to the platforms. We are incorporating eastbound platforms at the St. Mary's Hospital Station, as well as the 2nd Avenue Southeast eastbound platform. And these additions, we really believe, are staying true to the co-design process, which asks us to incorporate weather protection as an element of the experience here, making it also a more desirable mobility choice and an positive experience for all riders, not only downtown commuters, local residents, patients and their companions, and visitors. As you can see from this slide, this is the proposed realignment of the east terminus. I want to just acknowledge the things that Catherine talked about at the beginning of what are some of the outcomes we wanted to deliver on this project. So the fully revised recommended route includes the location of the east terminus near the downtown waterfront southeast site. The route slightly increases from 2.6 miles to 2.8 miles. The realignment does provide better access to cultural institutions, including the library and this building that we're in Rochester Arts, by adding a westbound platform at the Civic Center and Library Station. We're able to do so because we're eliminating the loop that goes around the government center. Eliminating this loop also increases confidence in the user, the rider of the system, because it's a bidirectional route going throughout the corridor. Realignment of the East End terminus also locates a new station at 6th Street Southeast, just east of 3rd Avenue Southeast. This location provides increased access for residents, particularly those from Slattery Park and Sunnyside neighborhoods. It also provides for increased intersection safety in this area, and of course capitalizes on the potential for redevelopment of the 60 acres of the downtown waterfront southeast site, particularly thinking about affordable housing and transit-oriented development opportunities on that site. Additional infrastructure that we want to include in this project includes, in addition to the East End terminus infrastructure, we're proposing improved intersections at Civic Center Drive and 2nd Street Southeast, bike lanes at Highway 52, improvements to the bus maintenance bay that's out at our Public Works facility out in the north end. And we're also able to now include infrastructure at the West Transit Village that was not originally contemplated in the original project because we had not fully evolved the design. This additional infrastructure that qualifies for FTA funding includes roads, utilities, a plaza area, and traffic control along the West Transit Village. I do want to talk about the really, this is an exciting project anyway, but as we have progressed on the design here, we're talking about the additional opportunities that we can capitalize on to try and leverage the impact of this project. And so it really presents an opportunity for us to create alignment with other investment in the city that feed into that greater vision of mode shift and a more walkable, livable community. So we're assessing connection points to this BRT line, including streets and sidewalks to make it, again, more accessible for residents who live here, users, as well as deepening connections to the West Transit Village and the opportunities that that presents, along with spurring that downtown waterfront redevelopment. So what does this mean in terms of our funding strategy? So our capital costs, this graphic represents the project costs that contemplate this enhanced rider experience for users. We go from 114.9 million to just over 143 million in project costs. Those are dollars as recent as last week, and you can see by the color coding how those dollars are broken down across the 6 areas. Of course, then, in our revised submittal to FTA, we plan to show that our local share continues to remain the same at just over 58 million. This means the cost share will shift, and we will go to a 40% local cost share and 60% FTA. Still a very, very competitive project in terms of these kinds of applications that go to the FTA. The revised schedule, here's a very quick high level of where we're at in terms of the schedule. The opening date has shifted to early 2026. We are currently in the design and environmental review, and I want to really emphasize that despite an adjustment in opening day, we do not anticipate a change in the actual construction time allocated to this schedule. Really, the adjustment and the shift is related to our process of going through an enhanced revised design and the necessary and required environmental review. But that capital construction anticipated timeframe, it remains the same. And despite the pandemic, we've been able to continue to do a lot of engagement. It continues to be robust. I call it high touch and high tech. Trying to meet people where they're at. If they would prefer to engage online as opposed to in person, we have those opportunities. But we also have some really, in addition to the co-design process, some really great ways that we're meeting people where they're at. Neighborhood walking tours, neighborhood meetings, offering routes along the bus ride along the route to help people understand and get some sense of what they're going to experience on Link Rapid Transit. Finally, here's a summary slide that highlights the various project elements under the existing application scope and our proposed revised scope. With that, I'll turn it back over to you, Patrick.
Thank you. So, Madam Chair, what's before you is our response to the conversation and direction that we received in February and subsequent conversation with Rochester City Council, and our recommendation to adjustments which pending your action today will then go in front of City Council for their consideration, and then ultimately resubmittal, which will go in August for the FTA's consideration. So with that, we are very pleased to bring this recommendation forward. In summary, it's a better design. It optimizes connections to the user base. It improves the quality of the experience. It sets up infrastructure for future development. It relies on the same amount of local share and an expectation of greater federal share, and then notably a bit of an adjustment to the construction, or rather the operational, when it becomes operational with no impact on the length of construction itself.
Thank you, Patrick and Cindy. I think that it is critical to get this right, not only to support our existing infrastructure and investment in our community, but to really be thoughtful about what this might facilitate moving forward. And I'm just amazed that you're able to get this done within a relatively short amount of time and get it ready for us to approve at this meeting. So I'm delighted to have it on the agenda today, and I'm going to turn it over to Member Williams.
Just I really like the shifts as well, and just these are the worries of a former recovering deputy mayor. One, just the shift of the rating from medium high to medium. Just want to make sure that what are the implications of that, and then just a reassurance. Your last point there, that the pushing back the completion by a year, in fact, will have no implications for the construction budget. Everything that I'm seeing out in the community, any delay, contractors are saying I can't hold my price. So just want to hear that reassurance one more time.
Sure. Let me first address the question regarding the medium high to medium rating. It's a great question. The reason we were able to achieve it, the only element of that impacted was the rating that gives you an additional point by having a 51% match. Everything else remained the same. That is the only reason this project went from a medium high to a medium. Lots of projects, many projects come in at a medium and are funded. And so we feel very confident that we are still delivering a really great project. And that's the only reason we've made that shift, is because the percentage ratio has changed.
But I think to Member Williams' question, perhaps also, we've been advised by our consultant that this is really a pass-fail system, and anything medium and above is the same as medium high from a review point of view. Great.
Yes, thank you for that clarification. Also, and I'll bring up Mona Elabadi, but it's my understanding that the recent analysis of the projections of 143 project out and anticipate future costs, an acceleration and an escalation, and there's a very healthy contingency included within that. Is that correct, Mona?
Thank you.
Additional questions or comments? Member Rega?
There are many things, and thank you, Madam Chair. There are many things in here that I think are really, really great, and it's a series of small things that add up to really big things. I just want to call one out, and it is for as many times, Member Campbell, as you have mentioned the tunnel. I have mentioned we have to make sure that when people get off the transit, that they are in climate control immediately. You have delivered on that promise, and I'm really, really excited about it. You have it labeled St. Mary's Tunnel. I think we could add a little more sex appeal to that. It could be the St. Mary's Oasis. It could be the Discovery Walk Trailhead, an indoor-outdoor experience, celebrating and controlling, whatever. But that is a really important moment, because if we're going to do the things we were talking about before, about making sure that we have fewer service lots and more transit, et cetera, it's got to happen there. And you've delivered on that, and that's really, really a small thing. It's a very, very big thing. So I love all this.
Any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, we do have a resolution. Moved by Member Norton, second by Member Tyne, I believe, or was it Member Baker? Member Baker. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for your work.
I just say it's just a pleasure to work with